Chapter 7. At the sound of her voice, a jolt ran through Kirtan Loor. He whirled away from his workstation and dropped to one knee before the towering holographic projection of Ysanne Isard. "Madam Director, I am at your service." "That was my impression." The chilly tone in her voice warned him that her mood was not one in which she would tolerate mistakes. He couldn't think of any he had made, but he killed the stirrings of anger that being unjustly accused started in him. "You have been accused of nothing. Her mood may not have anything to do with you or your service." "What would you have of me, Madam Director?" Some of the venom in her varicolored stare survived transmission from her office kilometers up and away from his workspace in the bowels of the Imperial Palace. "I would have of you the best effort you can produce." "Always, my lady." "Your report on the incompetence of the Black Asp's flight coordinator in the Burrow Jace matter was quite thorough. I wanted Jace alive so I could utilize him at Lusankia. Your report makes it quite clear that Major Wharton knew this, but took no steps to guard against a kill. And you were correct in pointing out that his insistence that the ship blew up by accident was nothing more than a sham." "Thank you. I did not need your editorializing in the conclusion you drew. It is true that in the past Major Wharton could have been executed, but we cannot afford to squander our personnel with such abandon any more. I have approved your suggestion that he be transferred to the inexorable. Under Thrawn, he will learn lessons he should already know, or he will die." "Yes, Madam Director." "I have received another request from General Dericote for subjects. This time he wants Quarren." Loor brushed a hand back over his Black Widow's peak, then looked up at her. He had often been told he looked like a young Grand Moff Tarkin, but he was fairly certain Tarkin would never have let Isard intimidate him. Tarkin had real power, almost as much as Iceheart wields here in Imperial Center. I have only the little bits I have assembled. I must wait and accumulate more." "Yes, Madam Director, that is his request. General Dericote's cadre of scientists have made the initial breakthrough in their research on Gamorreans. The virus has an incubation period of a month and is fatal in 75% of the cases." "The incubation period is too long. It must be faster." "Yes, they know that." "How long are the subjects contagious?" Loor reached back and pulled his datapad from the desk. 4 days during the final throes of the disease. Transmission occurs through bodily fluid and can survive in contaminated water supplies for almost a day. It can be frozen and survive indefinitely. Isard's expression hardened. "It cannot be made airborne?" "The current theory is that the same genetics that would make it transmissible by air would greatly facilitate a spontaneous mutation, allowing it to affect humans." "Unacceptable." "As I have told them, Madam Director." Loor glanced at his datapad again. "Dericote believes part of the incubation period problem is tied to the sluggishness of the Gamorrean metabolism. Quarren are not as good a platform to guarantee cross-species susceptibility, but their metabolic rate is higher than that of Gamorreans." "Very well. Give him what he wants. Organize sweeps in the Undercity for Quarren. There should be enough of them in the Warrens to suit his need." Isard rubbed at her eye with slender fingers. "Collect extras. Dericote's estimates of what he will need are always conservative." "Yes, Madam Director." "And tell Dericote I want the incubation period cut to a week, and I expect that breakthrough in a month. No more. I saw the reports of Zinja's forces showing up near the core. Do you think he is coming here?" Ysanne Isard laughed aloud, and Loor decided he'd heard more pleasant sounds during difficult interrogations. "Zinj? Never while I am here. He knows I would pluck out his heart and fling it into the streets from the highest tower in the palace. The only way he will come here is after someone has taken the world away from me, and he can slink in like the coward he is and take it away from them. No, his probes are to evaluate my defenses and the rebellion's strength. He will compare them, then put himself into a position to become the victor after the rebels and I exhaust ourselves in the fight for Imperial Center." Despite having only read it once, Kirtan Loor recalled very clearly the details contained in Zinja's Imperial data file. Everything there correlated well with the conclusion that the man was an opportunist, though Loor hesitated at deciding such a label defined the man completely. I would have done that before my association with Iceheart, but I had been made painfully aware that relying on conclusions I had drawn was the source of the difficulties in my life. If it would please you, Madam Director, I can arrange for efforts to discourage Warlord Zinja's scouting missions. No, absolutely not. The man may not be terribly brave, but he compensates for this by being venal and vengeful. Strike at him and he will feel compelled to strike back. Isard's expression grew distant as her voice trailed off. No, we must concentrate on the rebellion. All must be made ready for them when they decide to strike at Imperial Center. As you wish, Madam Director. You had better hope so, Agent Loor. If Derricote does not have his distraction for them available then, I shall have to take drastic steps to assure that anyone connected with his project does not fall into rebel hands. She smiled coldly. And if I were you, the implications thereof would frighten me to death. That's the end of the chapter. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you soon.